So, as always, you might see me come back and forth a little bit in the beginning of practice just to let people in. I do use the waiting room function for these yoga gatherings. And thank you so much for joining me this morning. Let's go ahead and start seated today. Today is also really just a lovely day for yoga. It is the first of the month. And although we can sometimes think of these numbers as being somewhat arbitrary, we're still subject to them, right? So we still think about things in terms of the transitions of months. And on top of that, we have a full moon hitting right now. So we're at the top of a lunar cycle. And then if we think about where September lands, especially for those of us who went through the public education system or had children who do, September is one of the turning points in the year, right? We're heading toward the autumnal equinox. And this time of year, it's very normal for us to be experiencing a little bit of the pre-shift toward fall, right? The temperatures haven't arrived yet, but we know it's coming. So now is a very good time to do a little bit of internal housekeeping, and I'm a huge fan of that. So today's practice is going to be focused around releasing some of the summer vibes, some of the things we are carrying that we do not need to, and opening a little bit of energy toward fall. So let's go ahead and find this space first. So I invite you to come to a comfortable seat, whatever that happens to look like in your body this morning, remembering that you have options, right? So you can sit with your legs folded if that's comfortable for you. Also feel free to have a leg up or both, or to sit on a cushion or a yoga block, whatever feels better in your body. And let's just come to that comfortable seat and then simply bring your hands to your heart and close your eyes. Begin to cultivate some deep breaths, really breathing from your belly. Now, as you breathe, I would like you to begin feeling some movement. So along with that breath, we're going to feel that inhale rolling out your spine nice and long. On your exhale, soften, relax your shoulders. Inhaling again, lengthening your spine, sitting tall on the mat. And exhale to soften. And just continue to feel this pattern, this rise and fall of energy in your body. Breath and movement working together. On your next exhale, release your hands down by your sides. And on your inhale, sweep your hands to the sky. Now turn your palms to face down. Exhale and press out your breath into the earth. Inhaling, opening, expanding. Exhale, palms face down, pressing out. Inhale to open. And press. Now you can begin to add some emotion here. So on that exhale, press out what you do not need to carry from this summer. Inhaling and exhaling. Now as you breathe, as you move, begin to feel welcome to change this pattern. So you can always open a little wider on one side, still exhaling and releasing that which does not serve into the earth. Gently find your way back to center, back to stillness. Draw your hands to your heart and let's take a moment to really set a strong intention. Today, we turn to face autumn. Tomorrow, the full moon is at its greatest brightness. It is a good time to change, to set something new into motion. And once you have chosen your intention, release your hands down. We're going to walk them forward and sweep our feet around behind us. Let's make our way into tabletop. And from here, let's start moving our spines. So on your inhale, roll your heart forward and tip your tailbone to the sky. Then exhale, coil your belly in, drop the crown of your head. Inhaling, rolling open. And exhaling to coil. And as always in this space, you have choices. So you can stay with cat-cow. You're also welcome to find free-form movement. So if it would feel good to shift from side to side, forward or back, feel free to do so, to just begin changing. And then begin making your way back toward your neutral spine. Draw your knees together under your hips. So we're going to put our knees toward the center point of our body so that we're nice and stable here. On your inhale, extend your right leg long behind you and drop your right toe to the mat. Begin to press into your right heel. So we're getting a nice calf stretch here. Remember, you can always change this depending on what your body needs. So you don't have to go to that sort of the utmost point of that stretch. You can soften a little bit if it's feeling like it's too much this morning. And then let's lower that right knee down and feel that on the left side. Extend your left leg long behind you and lower your toe down to the mat. Begin to press into your left heel. Again, remembering you can shift this stretch to what your body needs this morning. And then lower that left knee down. Now I'd like you to take a seat, just briefly coming to a comfortable seat. I'm going to show you a breath pattern that we can use today, and that helps draw us back into our bodies, helps us practice with intention. It's called Ujjayi breath, and it sounds a little bit like the ocean. And the easiest way to teach this breath is to imagine that you have, something cold in your hands, or that your fingertips are cold, and so you breathe out on them to heat them. So you go, that warming breath, right? So we go, and you hear that sound of your breath. So now we make that same breath, but we keep our mouth closed. And it's very audible, right? This sort of louder breath. And if you're in a yoga classroom or in a studio, sometimes you might hear that breath pattern happening. So it's a little bit louder. So let's practice Ujjayi breath. Take a nice deep breath in, and that louder breath sound. Now, Ujjayi helps us come back to the breath by making it a conscious choice in terms of how we exhale. So as we move through the rest of our practice, I invite you on your own, I may cue this, I may not, to just experiment with Ujjayi breath as we go. So all of that being said, let's find our way up to standing. And I'd like you to make your way to the top of your mat. We're going to set up our first Tadasana of practice. I'm going to adjust my camera slightly, although for this first part, I'll still be a little bit decapitated on your screen. So take a moment, root your feet down to the earth. Remember that Tadasana, mountain pose in most bodies, is done with the feet a fist and a half to 2 fists distance apart. You can actually measure them out. Take a moment to lift your toes and then set them back down again. Root into your feet. Bring your hands to your belly. Give your belly some love. A little self-massage right here. We carry so much stress in our bellies, and our culture is actually very belly punishing, which means that we disconnect from our bodies in this way. So let's just take a moment to acknowledge those digestive fires. And then bring your hands to rest on that little triangle of muscles just below your navel. Draw them in and up. Feel your tailbone lengthen. Keep that point as you roll your shoulders back and down, palms face forward. And let's just find a couple of rooting breaths right here. Inhale, sweep your fingertips out to the sides, up to the sky. Exhale, palms down, rooting energy into the earth, letting it go. Inhale. One more time. And exhale, root it out. All right, this time inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. And let's move into forward fold. Relax the crown of your head. Find a little movement if it would feel good right here. Remember, you can have your knees bent if that feels good in your body. Let it be easy, let it be soft. Deep breath in, releasing breath out, letting it go, the weight of summer rolling away. And then come to stillness at the center. Bend your knees enough that your fingertips can touch down to your mat or to your blocks. On your inhale, step your right foot back to lunge and lower your right knee all the way down. And let's begin in lunge with that left knee directly over your left ankle. So let's find a little flowing lunge right here. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift your left hip back. Begin to lengthen the back of your left leg. Inhale forward. And exhale back. Inhaling forward. Melt your right hip toward the mat. And exhale back. And this is one of those places where you can experiment with Ujjayi breath. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Knees come beneath the hips, wrists come beneath the shoulders, finding tabletop once more. Let's move our spines a little bit. Inhale, rolling forward. Exhale, coil it in, drop the crown of your head, and from here, yogi's choice, cat-cow, or creative movement, sahaja movement, free-form movement. Whatever feels best in your body today. Come to stillness at the center. Come to a neutral spine. Walk your hands, one hand span forward, and shift your shoulders over your wrists. Now engage your belly, draw your navel toward your spine. We want to feel nice and strong here. Bend your elbows and float your way all the way down to the mat, nice and slow. Walk your toes back once you touch down and bring your fingertips wide. They can come off the mat. Begin to roll one shoulder and then the other through creative cobra. So we think about creating space here. We think about range of motion, about fluid movement, serpentine movement. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Press back, tabletop, or if you have one in your practice, you're welcome to take downward facing dog here. Now, wherever you find yourself, I'd like you to find movement. So if you're in tabletop, that's cat-cow or free-form movement. If you're in downward facing dog, you're walking out that dog, bending one knee and then the other, maybe dropping one hip and then the other. Just finding ease, finding movement. And then make your way to stillness. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to step your right foot forward between your hands. Remember that multi-step movements are fine here. So you can just keep wiggling that right foot forward until your right ankle is directly beneath your right knee. If your back knee is lifted, please lower it. Let's set up our lunge. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift back. Start straightening the back of your right leg. Inhale, forward to lunge. Melt your left hip toward the earth. Exhaling back. And inhaling forward. And remember, you can follow your Ujjayi breath here, that heating breath on the exhale. Let your next bring you all the way forward to lunge. Turn your left toes under to lift your back knee. Look forward and step together. And fold, soften, surrender. So take a moment here again, right here in this space where we have our hearts reaching toward the earth, where the crown of our head is reaching toward the earth, and breathe out that which no longer serves. Bend your knees, exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, draw your hands to heart center. Take a moment, reposition your Tadasana if you need to. If your feet moved, no big deal. Root them again, and then feel that rising energy. Strong core, open heart. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold all the way forward, bowing over your legs. Surrender. Bend your knees, plant your fingertips. Inhale, step your left foot back to lunge and lower your left knee down. So we'll set up our flowing lunge again, but we're going to take it a little deeper this time. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift back. Let your right toes rise. So you get a deeper stretch along the back of your right leg. You can also walk your hands forward and back. Inhale, forward to lunge. Melt your left hip. Exhale, shifting back. And let's find that breath pattern. Inhale. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge, tabletop. So from here, walk your hands, one hand span forward and shift your shoulders over your wrists. Now, yogi's choice here, you can leave your knees down for half plank, but I want you to stay active. So we're still drawing our navel toward our spine. We're still feeling strong, still pushing the earth away. You're also welcome to turn your toes under and lift your knees for full plank. What I'd like you to feel are 5 strong breaths right here. Exhaling, coiling your navel in further. Inhale, heart and heels or heart and knees reach away from each other. And then exhale, coiling. Inhale to lengthen. On this next exhale, knees lifted or lowered, bend your elbows and float your way down. Come all the way down to your mat, walk your toes back, fingertips come wide, let's roll it out again. Creative cobra. We find freedom here, ease, movement. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders, press back. Find your way into tabletop or downward facing dog. Come to stillness. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Again, you can do multi-step movements to get here. When you land, you just want to make sure that left knee is directly under the left ankle is directly under the left knee. Grab your blocks if you were using them. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift back, left toes rise. Let that leg stretch out. Inhale, forward. Melt your right hip and exhale back. And again, we can follow the Ujjayi breath pattern here. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Turn your right toes under to lift your back knee. Look forward and step together. Surrender. Again, let the crown of your head dangle. Let your heart reach toward the earth. Breathe out that which does not serve. And then bend your knees. Roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Reposition. Finding your Tadasana again. Root to rise, strong core, open heart. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale to fold forward. Plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your right foot back to lunge and lower your right knee all the way down. Now, this time, walk your hands up your left knee. Now, if you notice that this is an unstable place in your body, grab a block and place it by your right hip so that if you need to, you can touch that right hand down. So from here, we're going to find a little bit of a heart opener. So on your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhaling, opening out, feeling expansive. Now there's a nice breath you can do here that's good for releasing. It's called lion's breath. So on your exhale, stick out your tongue and make your war face. Good. Inhale. And both hands down. Knees come together beneath your hips. Now this time we're going to keep the hips high as we walk our hands forward and melt our hearts toward the mat. And if you notice that this is too much in your shoulders, bend your elbows and let your forearms touch down. You can get a nice stretch either way, whatever feels better in your body. On your next exhale, roll your way all the way out and down onto your belly. Walk your toes back, create space, and let's set up for Sphinx pose. So what we want to do here is draw our elbows to directly beneath our shoulders and set up our arms so that they are coming out at a 90-degree angle. I sometimes find the visualization of like Lego dude arms to be useful here. So you want to make a box shape. Then press into your forearms. Spread your fingers, press your palms to the mat. Feel really buoyant through the shoulders. Draw your navel toward your spine. From here, begin to roll your way up. So maybe you find your way to your knees and you sustain right here. Maybe you turn your toes under and float up into forearm plank. And we just find a few breaths right here. It's tough, but we're building fire in the belly, we're building strength. And then roll your way back down. Knees, quads, belly, hips. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your head. Rock your hips from side to side. You can bend your knees and add in windshield wiper legs if that feels good. I like the way it feels in my body, but as with all things yoga, your mileage will vary. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders and press back. Tabletop or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. Come to stillness. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to step your right foot forward between your hands. Remember, you can do multi-step movements here and then walk your hands up that right knee. So again, if you feel unstable here, just put a block by that left hip so that you can plant your hand if you need to. Let's find those beautiful lunar breaths. Inhale. Exhale, full moon shape. Inhale. All right, lion's breath if you need it here. And both hands down. Turn your left toes under, lift that back knee. Look forward and step together. And soften, release, relax. Come into stillness if you're rocking. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Last time through our opening namaskar, our opening salutation, so take a moment, root your feet down. Now, feel that strong tree rising in you. Strong legs, strong core, open heart. Inhale, sweep those branches to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees, plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge. Lower that left knee down. And walk your hands up your right knee. So let's put it together. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, shift back. Your fingertips can touch down. They can also sweep behind you. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, surrender. On this next exhale, both hands come down to the mat. Tabletop, and then position your hips over your knees as you walk your hands forward. Melt your heart toward the earth, Anahatasana, remembering that you can bend your elbows here if this stretches too much for your shoulders. Also, if you have very open shoulders and you find your forearms are on the mat and you don't want them to be, you can tent your fingers to get a deeper stretch here. And then roll your way all the way out and down onto your belly. Walk your toes back, create plenty of space underneath you. Now from here, we're going to bring our toes to the distance of the mat. So bring your feet wide. Draw your navel toward your spine and float your feet so that they're reaching away. Roll your shoulders back and down. Continue to draw your navel toward your spine as you float your hands free. Good. Inhale, draw your feet together and reach your arms long. Exhale, feet separate, fingertips float to our sides. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale. On this next exhale, make a pillow with your hands, rest your head. Rock your hips from side to side. Remember, you can always bend your knees and add in windshield wiper legs if that feels nice. Lower your toes down to the mat. Press it back, tabletop or downward facing dog. Come to stillness. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Walk your hands up that left knee. All right. Inhale, sweep your fingertips forward and up. Exhale, shift back. Remember, your fingertips can touch down or sweep behind you. Inhale to open. And exhale. Find your Ujjayi breath here. On your next exhale, both hands come down to the mat. Turn your right toes under, lift your back knee, look forward, and step together and fold. Take a full lunar pause right here. You can rock from side to side, you can breathe. Again, just letting go of tension, letting go of anything that does not serve, letting go of anything from this summer that you do not wish to carry into fall. Just let it roll off your spine, past your head, and out into the mat and away. And then come back to stillness at the center. Bend your knees. Exhale. Roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release your hands down by your sides and make your way all the way down to the mat. We're going to take a seat for core cultivation today. And let's start with the base for boat pose. So when we're building toward Navasana, we want to find a V seat first. So we plant our feet, nice deep bend in the knees, and you want to sit forward on your sits bones. What that means is that you can have your spine nice and straight as you're folded slightly forward. If you find that you're in a C shape, you probably need to scoot your hips back a little bit. So from here, engage your core, spine rolls out nice and long, sit tall. Bring your fingertips to behind the nooks of your knees. Staying lifted, staying long and engaged. Exhale, shift back, hinging from the hips. Inhaling forward. And exhale back. Now stay right here with the fingertips behind the nooks of the knees or float your hands free. Again, totally up to you. And this is another spot where you can use your Ujjayi breath. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward. Fold over your legs. Rock from side to side. Relax through the back of your neck. Breathe. Let it go. Come back to stillness at the center. Roll your way all the way back up, and we're going to find our way down onto the mat, all the way down onto our backs. Draw your knees in and just rock from side to side. Feel that wonderful connection of your back and hips, rocking back and forth on the earth. That gentle self-massage. And then come to stillness at the center. So from here, we're going to let our toes touch, but open our knees out to either side. So we're going to make a diamond shape with our legs. And you can float your feet a little higher to make that diamond bigger if you would like to. Sweep your fingertips to the sky and interlace all of your fingers except for your index fingers. So this is Agni Mudra, which is actually the fire mudra, right? This is very dynamic. On your exhale, point Agni Mudra, your index fingers, through the diamond of your legs. Inhale back down to earth. Exhale, pointing away. Inhale. And remember, you can find your Ujjayi breath here. Yoga breathing is so powerful. Hi. Are you open? On this next exhale, stay with the slow pulse or sustain. And we'll pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And roll it all the way down. Draw your knees in. Rock from side to side. Again, just finding a little ease, letting it go. Remember to turn your head from side to side as well. That way you can release any tension that might have accumulated in your neck. Now, while we're down here, let's do a nice supine hip opener. So relax your palms down to the mat. And we're just going to begin to find big circles with that left knee. So draw a huge circle all the way up, all the way around, trying to find the most movement in that left hip. And just keep some awareness of your core. Keep drawing your navel toward your spine, that lower back pressing into the earth. Draw your left knee back in. Let's feel that on the other side. So begin to draw big circles with your right knee. Again, all the way around, crossing over, up, and around. And go nice and slowly here, right? So one full inhale should be one full circle. And then make your way back to center and rock forward to seated. From here, we're going to make our way all the way up to standing. You can get there however you would like to. So let's return briefly to the breath pattern we started at the very beginning of practice. So I invite you to step your feet nice and wide. Let your toes point out a little bit, so maybe a 45-degree angle. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, palms face down, rooting out. Inhale and open it. And exhale, palms down, root. Let's add on this next exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, rising energy. Exhale, root. Let this next inhale draw you all the way back up to standing. Hands come to heart center. Release your hands down. Step your feet together, provided there's not a cat underneath you. There is in my case. We're going to do this carefully. So let's do a little bit of standing balance work. If you already know that standing balance is an area of challenge for you, I invite you to find a surface that you can touch. So a bookshelf, chair back, couch, just in case you need it. Let's begin by shifting our awareness into that right foot. Really root your right foot down. Now, stack your core. So we engage the belly. We feel strong and connected to that right foot. Shoulders roll back and down, standing tall and proud. Come to the toe of your left foot and begin to find some little circles. Just drawing low circles with that left foot. Now you can keep your toe very close to the earth here if balance is challenging for you today. If you would like to go a little bit more challenging, bend your left knee and begin finding bigger circles, so hip mandalas. Now as you breathe, as you move, begin to think about where you'd like to place that right foot, that right left foot. I mirror imaged and just got lost on my lefts and rights. Where you would like to place your left foot for your tree pose today. So maybe that left foot comes to the calf. Maybe that left foot comes to the inner thigh. The one place it does not go is directly on the knee joint. Knees don't like it when you do that. You can also keep your toe down to the mat and just rest your left heel against your ankle. So find your base for Vrikshasana, for tree pose, and then come to stillness. Find a spot to gaze at that does not move. If you'd like to, you can add some branches. Now we think about being rooted, being strong here, strong core, rooting down on that right side. And you can stay exactly as you are, or we can begin adding that same breath. Turn your palms to face down. Exhale, rooting out. Inhale to rise. Exhale to root. On this next exhale, both hands come down. Step your left foot down and wiggle it out a little bit. Let's feel that on the other side. So we're going to root that left foot down into the earth. Shift your weight over your left foot, engage your core, shoulders roll back and down, and come to the toe of your right foot. So we'll start with those little circles, right? Keeping that toe low, begin to find some low hip mandalas. Now, if all is well, you're welcome to bend your knee a little bit more, finding bigger hip mandalas on that right side. Wherever you happen to be, start thinking about where you'd like to place your foot for Vrikshasana, for tree pose. And then on that next pass around, we're going to find that spot. So we'll place our foot. Maybe it's toe down and heel sort of resting against that left leg. Maybe we plant our foot on our calf. Maybe a couple of people find that spot on the inner thigh. Wherever you have landed, come to stillness, hands come to heart center. Keep your core nice and strong. Find a spot to gaze at that does not move. You can stay exactly as you are, or if you'd like to, you can add some branches. And again, stay as you are, or if you'd like to, you can begin to practice with that releasing breath, turning your palms to face down. Exhale, rooting out. Inhale to rise. your next exhale, find your way out far more gracefully than I did, if possible. And then once you've touched down, wiggle it out. All right, nicely done. So let's make our way all the way down to the mat. We're going to come to a comfortable seat and do a little bit of mudra and breath work before we move into our closing slide. So come on down. Find a comfortable seat in your body, whatever that looks like, remembering that you have many choices here. Now, we've spent 75% of this practice focusing on rooting energy out, right? So we release things. Now, anytime we release something, we do want to try to put something in its place that is of our choosing. Nature abhors a vacuum, right? We don't just want more frustration and more discord to roll in with whatever we've released. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to do the lotus mudra, which is the mudra for compassion, for being open. So bring your pinkies together. And then we're just going to bring the edges of the hands together so that the thumbs then touch. So you can think of this as making like a cup shape or a lotus. What I'd like you to do is bring that lotus shape right in front of your heart. Close your eyes and just find a few breaths right here. Now I would like you to visualize the energy that you want to move into September with, that you want to feel this full moon cycle. So maybe it's hope or optimism, determination or strength. And as you breathe, imagine that lotus receiving that energy. Imagine some beautiful white light pouring into your hands. Imagine feeling that emotion flowing in through your palms and into your heart. This is a space where you can connect again to your Ujjayi breath, your ocean breath. Sitting with that visualization. Welcoming in all of that bounty of the full moon. And then gently bring your fingertips to touch, coming back to prayer hands, Anjali. And gently release down. Now remember that mudra and visualization is something you can do on your own as well. It's a tool to go with you into the next month. So from here, let's roll our way all the way down onto our backs and draw our knees into our chests. Come to stillness at the center if you're rocking. Open your arms out to either side. Make a nice big T on the mat. Drop your knees off to your right hand side and turn your head to look to the left. I invite you to completely relax your body in this space. Try to let the earth hold you. And just take a moment to connect with how firmly you are held. The way gravity, our earth, holds you in place, supporting you. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale, drop your knees off to the left-hand side. Turn your head to look to the right. Again, trying to just soften, just let the earth hold you right here. On your inhale, draw your knees back to center. And if there is any additional movement, any stretch, any asana, anything at all you would like to feel, take this moment to honor that request in your body. So it might be a fold or an inversion or a twist or another hip opener, whatever would feel really nice. That's what you put right here. And then as you are ready, begin to make your way toward your Shavasana. So remember that you have options. So you can lie flat on your back with your heels nice and wide, toes falling out to either side. If you choose that option, relax your hands down to the mat, palms face the sky. If you notice that this is causing discomfort in your lower back, you can bend your knees, keeping your feet wide, and just let your knees fall together in the center. Let your bones support you. You also have the option here to take child's pose or seated meditation, whatever would feel better in your body this morning. So find your way into stillness. And begin to simply soften. Starting at the very top of your head, relax all of the muscles around the crown of your head. And then let that wave spread out. Relax your eyes. Relax your jaw. Relax your neck and your shoulders. Soften your heart space. Relax your upper back. Relax your belly. Relax your mid-back, all the way down to your lower back. Relax your hips. Imagine a wave of relaxation starting at your thighs and rolling all the way down your legs, softening wherever it passes. Relax your shins and your calves all the way down into your feet. Relax your arms all the way down to your fingertips. Visualize yourself resting in a pool of light, floating in this perfect, bright, pure space. Allow that light to just begin to fill you up. Let yourself dissolve into it. Allow your breath to create space within your body. And begin to find some little movements of your fingertips and your toes. Just bringing you back to this day, to this time. Point your toes away and reach your arms up overhead. Take a nice deep breath in, full body stretch. Then exhale to draw your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. Eventually find your way all the way over onto your right hand side and just curl into the posture of a sleeping child. No tension here. You can cradle your head on your right arm if that would feel good. Take a moment in this space that you have created to come back to that intention for September, for this lunar cycle, for this solar cycle, for this month. We are beginning to turn toward August, or towards autumn. Take a moment to turn toward the energy you wish to cultivate. And then whenever you are ready and you feel your practice is complete, use your hands to help press yourself up to a nice, easy seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and close your eyes. We'll close our practice with a round of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, a prayer for peace. Inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste. Thank you. Let me come up and stop the recording. There we go.